Welcome to Fit to Be Real.
And a little extra.
Happy October!
Oh, it's the best month of the year. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
So she's going to say this again in December.
I know. I love the holiday season.
Yeah. So then October to what, January?
December 26th.
Oh, yeah. We don't like that last week.
No.
Okay. Why don't we like the last week?
Remember, I talked about this last year. It's just depressing to me. It's like the hype and the excitement of Christmas is over, and the 26th, it's like dreary for the next 3 months. I'm not a New Year's fan, so it's just like, well, it's a downer.
Yeah, I do remember talking about that.
Don't you remember everything I said in the past year?
You would think, because I have to listen to everything twice, but somehow I'm still disassociating. It is October. It's our birthday month. It's also spooky season. And so for all of those reasons, it is the best. And the weather's finally getting colder.
Finally.
Yeah.
I can remember times when we were a kid on our birthday, which is the end of October.
Were we just one kid?
Yeah.
We were just one kid.
Well, we work together. We hang out together. Our birthdays are 5 days apart.
That's one adult.
I don't know how else we could be intertwined. But when we were one kid growing up, and it would be so warm, and you're trying to go to Lynn Villa, and there's bees Lynn Villa is like the pumpkin patch in our area, like bees everywhere, and you're like
sweating,
trying to wear the October clothes that you've been wanting to wear, but it's 90.
Yeah. And in the 90s, it was like a turtleneck and overalls.
Yes.
With,
we love overalls.
Pigtails. Let's bring it back. I had a white turtleneck with yellow smiley faces on it. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
Yeah.
It was very you. And that would be in style right now.
Let's bring it back.
Let's bring it back.
Love it. I think Justin Bieber did, actually.
Justin.
No, we're not
going
there.
I want to do a whole episode on conspiracy theories in Hollywood because I've been reading a lot about all of them recently. Obviously, everybody has because of the P. Diddy thing.
The man who must not be named.
I know. That's how I want to refer to him as. But
it's good that you said his name, though.
I didn't. I said one of his 10 pseudonyms. That's not.
None of those words just came out of your mouth. Hold on. This is the problem. You are all witness to, oh my God, the daily struggle.
Was that the right word? A pseudonym? P. Diddy?
We're moving on.
Okay.
I'm not even addressing it.
Okay. What are we talking about today?
More scary things.
Like what goes on in my brain on the daily.
We're talking about spooky season,
yes.
But in the sense of the psychology and the science behind recreational fear, which is what we do when we watch horror films, or I prefer thrillers than horror.
Well,
or true crime.
My kids, they call it horror film.
Horror.
Because they speak like they're not from Delco. I don't know why. I think it's the television shows that they watch.
I think it's your husband, but
yeah, a little bit it's that. But I say horror and they say horror. So I constantly ask Dean to say horror movie and he's like, horror movie.
The Dykmans and their whores.
But yes, anyway, we're talking about horror movies.
Horror. In the forest.
It's so hard.
It's amazing that we're making fun of people who are speaking correctly.
It's not correct.
Okay. So I'm not a scary movie person.
Neither am I.
I like suspense, like River Wild. Let's bring it back. That's like a big deal to me.
I can't watch that anymore after having kids. I can't. I had to stop watching Law and Order SVU after I had kids.
Law and Order SVU.
But that's scary to me because that's real. That can really happen. River Wild?
Yeah.
You might see Kevin Bacon on the River Wild. And that could really happen.
On the River Wild. Not Meryl Streep.
Nah, not likely. Kevin Bacon, though. I'm going to say this wrong. M. Night Shyamalan Malanan videos. How do you say his last name? M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, I think so.
I can watch The Sixth Sense with anxiety But anything after that, I was unable to watch. Like Signs is so hard for me to watch.
See, yeah, I will say things like Signs, no thanks, but I do like Signs. So I'm a little all over the place.
But that's suspense.
Right. And I guess what constitutes horror? I think that's blood, that's gore, that's obviously thriller and suspense, but it's got a different psychological effect to it.
Right.
Thriller and suspense films, I guess, like any M. Night Shyamalan movie, it's not so much about the visual effect
the blood and gore
of the gore, yeah. And it's more about the
mind games.
Thriller aspect, yeah. So I do like Signs. All of them I watch behind a pillow.
Right.
There's nothing I'm sitting here strongly being like, I enjoy this. It's the aftermath. And we're going to talk about why that happens, why you hate it in the moment, why you like it after the fact, and why you keep coming back for more.
Sweet horror.
Let's get into it. I'm Victoria.
Hey guys, I'm Carly.
Very good.
Thanks.
I think the scariest movie I've ever, as I said that, I just thought of a second one. The two scariest movies I've ever watched are very different, and I would never watch them again.
Oh.
One, I distinctly remember watching it. I won't get into the details, but it was during the day because it was the only way I agreed to watch it, and it was The Hills Have Eyes.
Ugh.
I actually don't remember so much of it because I think I left my body. Like, it was so scary for me that I can't think about it. And then the other one is Split.
Oh, I've never seen that. Why did you watch that?
None of these were voluntary on my own. I was asked to, hey, do you want to watch this? Yeah. And I said no.
Yeah, I was going to say immediate no.
Yeah, but didn't work out that way. Split was scary to me because it's so real, right? Having split personalities, that's what it's about. And so
that was recent.
I think so.
Yeah, in the past couple years.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know much about it. I remember being angry. So my response to fear is anger.
Oh, I know, because when our uncles asked us to watch Don't Look Up, you left.
So you went to bed.
True. I know, but you left the house.
Yes, I said goodbye. I don't live here. I'm leaving.
Wasn't Don't Look Up. That was like
that was
George
Leonardo
Clooney.
DiCaprio, I think. That was a good one.
Nope. The movie Nope.
Nope. Yep.
And Victoria. Nope. Victoria said nope, and she got up halfway through and left. And I had to go upstairs to my room because we were in my basement, and I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. It's such a physical, like, I don't know, hormonal rush of fear that it becomes unbearable. But so something like The Hills Have Eyes, it was like I couldn't watch it because it was so...
Was it gory?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I can't watch gore. I can't watch gore.
Beyond the beyond from what I remember. And then the psychological thrillers of, multiple personality disorder or just how they write the scripts. I can't handle that either.
That is more likely to happen in my mind, in my mentally,
stable or unstable,
stable mind.
Mm-hmm.
The Hills Have Eyes is not likely to happen in life. Split personalities.
Have you been to those hills?
No, I haven't. Split personalities and sort of schizophrenia and stuff like that to me is more likely to happen.
Yes, but let me ruin your thought process because you like true crime.
I love murder.
And
I love murder.
True crime couldn't be more real. Like, yes, there's stories on podcasts that we listen to while we're running at night, or maybe that's just me.
No, I did it this morning.
Right in the dark. That's the morning, but it was not light out. But they happened. Like the people that you're listening about, they're real people. It's not fake.
I know. And there's a reason that when researching this, I think I figured out why I like it so much. Because I'm always like, oh my gosh, I'm scared of life. Why the heck do I like this? I figured it out.
Yeah, it's control.
No.
You sure?
I'm preparing myself for it to happen to me.
Yes, control.
Preparation. Well, yeah, I guess.
Preparation H.
Yeah.
So, the science of recreational fear, which I just like how that sounds, because that's what it is. We're doing it for fun. We're doing it for fun to ourselves, voluntarily.
For funsies.
For funsies. Like, I love a jump scare. But I need to do the most preparation in my brain to go to a haunted house or a haunted hayride or something like that. But I go. I haven't gone in years, but I've gone.
The adrenaline rush.
So it's this adrenaline rush, and it's the opportunity to learn about dealing with situations in safe environments. So there's something to the aspect of knowing that you're not actually going to die.
Right.
Even though it doesn't feel like that in the moment.
Right.
The back of your brain knows that you're safe, knows that they're actors, knows that you paid for this.
Right.
And so in the long run, you're going to be okay. You just have to get through this momentary adrenaline rush.
Yeah. That as a kid, we used to have our birthday parties because our birthday's in October. We used to have birthday parties at the haunted houses.
Yeah,
like
Arisafa Farms.
The haunted corn maze. Like you'd have to go through a corn maze in the dark and there would be scarecrows jumping out at you. Like I did that one year and I didn't like being scared back then, but I liked that because I knew, I guess, subliminally knew I was safe. I wasn't going to die tonight.
Yes. I don't have that gauge of knowing that. I don't think.
Really?
I really don't think so. In the moment. After the fact, I can like laugh about it to a degree, and it takes like a lot. But I remember we went to a college around here. Our cousin went to it, and there was a haunted house.
It was Newman.
Yeah, and not everybody knows Newman, so I was just saying college.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you couldn't remember it.
No, I was just describing it.
Your acting was
just
great.
Like, there was a cop wasn't acting. And he was dressed as this death, all black cloaks and whatever, and he was at a door, and I'm screaming bloody murder in his face. He's literally looking at me going, "Victoria, it's Jody, and I'm like, ah! Like I couldn't separate what I was seeing. And I certainly wasn't listening. And I think I'm the same way still.
Yeah.
I was like, what, 7? I don't remember how we were getting little.
Yeah, we were little.
And there's a piece of it I cannot, in the moment, I can't feel that I'm actually safe. I cannot go, this is an actor, it's okay, everything's okay. I can't do that.
I can't do that either.
Okay. I think some people can.
Those same uncles that made us watch Nope just made me go to a
escape room.
It.
No.
Yes, I did.
No, I know. I'm saying absolutely not.
I was like, I just went. I told you about it.
No, I would not walk in.
Yeah. So it was an It. And so there's a clown following you throughout each room.
But a scary one.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's Vegas. So it is Hollywood style escape room. It's not just like one room you try to get out. It's like 6 rooms you try to get out while there's somebody chasing you.
Yeah, no.
And it was brutal.
You did another one too.
Saw.
Yeah, no.
Saw escape. So those same uncles took me to a Saw escape room because they very, very, very much enjoy horror and they very much enjoy watching me go through horror.
I can't stop hearing horror.
I know.
Horror.
They love watching me go through horrors.
That's a different.
No.
So there's, they are what I believe are white knucklers, and we'll talk about what that is. There's 3 different types of horror fans.
Okay,
and that's why they like it. But really quickly, what happens to the body? Because this is super important from gathering the why to all of this. What happens to the body and the brain is the reason why the people that like it keep coming back and the people that don't like it know their limits. And it's when you're afraid, our endocrine system releases adrenaline, noradrenaline, and cortisol to prepare the body for danger. So it's that fight or flight. It's we have that natural instinct for fear and danger, and it's how we've survived all these years. But after the rush of all of these things, it's a good feeling.
Right.
Like the body goes through this
like,
rush of good dopamine hit.
That's what I was searching for. Yes.
So adrenaline, really quickly, because I am someone, and maybe you're like me, I know the words, but I don't know the words. Right. So adrenaline is just rushes of blood throughout the system. Your heart beats faster. Your lungs feel like you can't really breathe. That's the body kind of, if you think of it as like the electrical wires all through your body, they're like going off. They're blinking, they're lighting up, they're doing all the things. So that's what we feel. The noradrenaline, which is actually something I didn't know, it acts as a neurotransmitter, so signals from the brain, and a hormone.
Oh.
And it regulates arousal, attention, cognitive function, and stress reactions. So when I read that, I was like, okay, well, what does that mean? And I think that's noradrenaline. And somebody please write in and tell me that I'm wrong. But I think when I read the word arousal, that's where the serial killers, like, if they have too much.
Yes.
This one is where it's like a good thing, and that's why they go too far, and it's just wired in them, and it's, all that stuff. So, there's parts of this that are just a little bit scary, too.
It sounds right to me, so you know me. If it sounds right.
So it's totally right.
It's totally right.
And then cortisol, we know, it's our stress hormone.
Right.
That's daily stress. And then in this case, it's a high level of a cortisol hormonal rush to the system. So when we go through these jump scares, which I love is like a term.
Well, all the kids know it.
Jump scare?
I have a big Halloween party. This is my second time having it. And we have a haunted house. And Melody, last year, we had 2 jump scares in the haunted house in my backyard. And Melody has already told me, I want to walk through without the jump scares.
Oh.
And so they know those words. Like, that's a kid, I think it's a trending kid phrase to like, oh, yeah, I like that, but no jump scares.
I like to talk to her normally, and then all of a sudden I scare her. And she gets so flustered. She doesn't get mad, but she gets flustered.
Yeah.
And then I keep doing it to her because she thinks I'm not going to do it anymore. Right. And then she gets mad.
Well, she is very much like me in that we do not like scary things. Lewis wants blood coming out of his eyes at all times.
Yeah.
Melody and I don't like jump scares. But I don't like them.
Yeah. Well, because all of that rush, your body, with all the rush of adrenaline and all the things we just named, it's too much. It's way too much for your system.
I'm exhausted afterwards. I was exhausted after the escape room.
Yep.
Totally. And I had anxiety for a week knowing I was going.
Because the body like keeps it all.
Yeah.
It keeps the score of what you went through. So imagine if you never go to therapy and you never heal and it just like stays like that. Part of that had nothing to do with you, but now that I'm staring at you, that was directed right towards
I was
you.
like, I can't tell if you're being sarcastic towards me or not.
No. Okay. But hold on. Let me just finish the science behind it. So with these jump scares, they increase the activity in our amygdala. And that is it's like a little tiny almond shaped thing in our brain. Why are you laughing?
Because say that word again.
No.
Say it again.
Amygdala.
Say it again.
No.
Oh my God. That's like not a word.
You're being weird. The part of the brain that's responsible for detecting and responding to danger. So that it increases that activity because it's trying to figure out how we respond to this. Are we okay? Are we safe? Where do we go? What do we do? And everything else is also rushing at the same time. But our negative emotions are stored in the amygdala.
Ew.
So they fight that a little bit. And that's why it can continue to affect you for longer, lingering effects.
Ugh. So
that's the medical terms when it comes to what is happening to feel that. Like I get, I feel like heat, like your body gets hot.
Well, some people use that in their life as like, that's what they look for. They are adrenaline, like that's adrenaline junkies.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay, here we go.
Yeah, let's do it.
So there are 3 types of horror fans: adrenaline junkie, white knucklers, and dark coppers.
You're making this up.
No, it was in I sent you articles.
I know, but I'm sorry. Adrenaline junkies, white knucklers, dark copplers, copers.
What? The adrenaline junkies you get like a mood boost from the fear.
I heard a mooge boosh. I don't know what you said. And I actually don't know what an amuse-bouche is, but that's what I heard.
That's what it is.
Okay.
That's what it is. So it's that dopamine hit afterwards. The dopamine rush that you get after all of the adrenaline and the fear and all of that. Dopamine is our feel-good hormone. So that is what they're kind of chasing.
Okay.
And it's as simple as that. Like, there's nothing else attached to it, really.
I am not one.
White knucklers, they quoted this lean out term. They lean out, which just means I think it's like our uncles that you're talking about. They find it like funny.
Yeah. They think it's funny to watch other people scared too.
So white knucklers have this thing like a sweet spot. So they're looking for the sweet spot to be scared.
I read that.
And so that's good.
Just acknowledge that I know what the sweet spot of fear is.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So too much fear is just plain anxiety. Not enough fear is boring to them.
Mm-hmm.
But that sweet spot is where it's like they can feel that adrenaline rush.
Right.
So I guess white knucklers, to me, white knucklers, like you're gripping so hard that it's scary,
you're scared.
but that's not how it's described.
All right.
So they find the situation funny. And I am so the opposite.
Oh my God. I'm what you call a dark chocolate coper. What's it called?
I don't know if you're actually this. Because a dark coper uses the fear and the situation to help deal with anxieties about the world or within their own world and themselves.
No, I think that I am.
Okay.
And I think you are too. And I think what that means is what I said before. The reason I enjoy murder podcasts and watching like documentaries about serial killers and stuff like that is so that I can prepare myself.
Right.
If I ever like my anxieties, I can sort of ease my anxieties by saying, okay, if this happens, I know how to prepare myself and I know how to try and get out of that situation. That's how I took that.
Yeah.
So no, I don't enjoy it, but it a little bit relieves my anxiety, as if I didn't know how to get out of a situation like that, I would have more anxiety about it.
Right.
But I'm preparing myself because I know somebody's going to murder me. I've said that since I was little.
That is not true. You have not said it since you were little. You've said it since New York.
Well, that was 20 years ago.
But that was not little. So, I think that is a way that you could describe the dark coper. I took it a little differently when I read it.
Okay. How'd you take it?
Which is that there's so much anxiety and stuff that they have within them.
Oh.
Which everybody does, right? But they look for a more concrete threat. They look for something else to focus on to regulate their system and their, to overcome a fear and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, that's
it's similar. It's similar, but I think there's an umbrella, right? Nothing is ever cookie cutter.
Ella, under my umbrella.
You're scary in a different way. But yeah, the one thing in all of the things that I have read is that horror fans are psychologically resilient.
Oh,
that was a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So there's something when you say Lewis just likes blood and
oh my God,
guts and stuff, he does. He likes to draw it.
Yes.
He can control that because he's creating it.
Right,
but if he were watching something, he wouldn't sleep for days.
Correct.
So, because he's a highly sensitive kid.
Correct.
And so we're going to talk about why you may not actually like it, because his, I think, psychological resilience is not actually very high.
Right.
But horror fans usually are.
He's never seen these movies, but for Halloween, he's not going to be any of these. But for Halloween, he was like, I want to be the Scream guy. I want to be Jason. I want to be Freddy Krueger. He's never seen these movies. He's only seen pictures and has drawn all these people. But he's never seen the movies, but he loves that.
It's just scary to look at.
Oh my gosh, so scary.
So interesting.
But yeah, I don't know why.
So that's horror. Okay. That's the actual scary movies that come out this season every year that just keep getting to me worse and worse.
Well, side note, you had said before that people that like horror films are more resilient.
Mm-hmm.
I keep getting the same memes sent to me by different people because everybody knows that we like true crime.
Yeah.
This was sent to me by Andrew's sister, my sister-in-law. Psychologist warns it's a major red flag to relax by enjoying true crime.
Yes.
But I'm resilient.
No.
Oh.
I think that's for horror. That's the jump scares. Like, true crime doesn't necessarily have jump scares, right? It's just like...
No.
It's just like telling you the story about a really bad person doing a really bad thing, and you get like the background of it all, and you learn. So true crime, I think, is a little bit different. And I've heard this red flag thing.
I keep getting it sent to me.
So that's Mel Robbins had Dr. Bryant?
Melly
R. had a woman on that talked about this. And I think that's where that meme is coming from.
Oh.
Because she said that it's completely unhealthy if you, at the end of the day, go home and put on a true crime, whether it's Law & Order SVU or 2020.
Yeah.
Or...
I'm listening to a 2020 podcast right now.
I did this morning.
Yeah.
While I worked out.
I love it. But she said, this doctor said that the trauma portrayed in the series of a true crime is familiar to you. And that's why it's a red flag.
Right. So it's more discomfort to sit in peace because that is scarier than to sit in the chaos.
Yes.
Of something. Maybe it's your childhood trauma, the environment you grew up in. Maybe you also had the abusive, parental figure. So there's so much that feels normal.
Do you know what's interesting? And I'm just realizing this now. I used to work for somebody in New York whose brother, Elizabeth wouldn't care if I talked about this. Her brother was the boy in the bubble.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Well, that was based off the movie. If you've ever heard the Boy in the Bubble movie, it was based off her brother. He lived in this bubble because he had no immune system. So that was her brother. That's how she lived. He died very young, and he died when she was very young. And she was obsessed with death. And I'm putting this together. She would watch The Shining at noon in the afternoon. No problem. She loved scary movies. She loved death. And that's why.
Yeah.
Because she could have gone the other way when her brother died, but instead she went towards it.
Right. So you could be completely afraid of it.
Right.
Or
no. Yeah. So she, what's it called? Her trauma of death, she leaned into it. That's crazy.
Yeah. Not necessarily. I mean, it could be healthy.
Yeah.
Or it could not be healthy. So that goes for anybody's situation. There's I went to a cemetery for some sort of market, and then I looked into what they offer throughout this whole season, and every weekend's like a different spooky something, right? One of the events is a one night only, I forget what they called it. It's like a death cafe.
Ooh. See, I like that.
I don't know. It's not scary. It's different tables and different opportunities for you to go and talk freely about death to people.
Wait, no, I don't like that.
So it's grappling and understanding the concept and being able to talk freely and openly about it. Not necessarily how to do it and how to kill and blah, blah, just death as a concept, as a theory, as something that maybe you're going through it right now. And it's so interesting because I read that and I was like, what? But it's not something that we talk about.
No,
openly.
That is my biggest fear in life. And I never want to talk about it.
Death?
Openly. Oh my God, I'm so scared of dying.
Why?
It's like, I don't want to do it.
I know. So, we talk about this and I never am not surprised.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to handle it. So I definitely don't want to talk about it with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, because why?
Oh my God.
Why come to terms with it?
All right. I can't even touch that. I can't even touch it. So the love of true crime, the people that like it, there are different reasons why. So maybe you fall under any of these options. You grew up in a high stress situation or environment, and that's what we said before. The peace is boring and chaos is comforting. Mm-hmm. Something like that. The discomfort feels normal. You can decide why, but it just feels normal to relate to the people in the quote unquote stories, even though they're real lives. Crime aficionados. Mm-hmm. They just have unresolved trauma. Apparently, if you love crime, you have an unresolved trauma that you have not healed, and you are filtering it into this love, which could essentially, I think I read that it almost is like a Only Murders in the Building. You know how they become these like sleuths of trying to solve the crime. There are a lot of people, like internet sleuths, I think is what they call them now, that are trying to solve high profile crimes and crimes that they're not in the same state or country, and it just becomes this obsession.
Right.
So there's apparently some unresolved trauma there. For some, it has nothing to do with the crime. It has to do with the justice of finding the bad guy.
Yes.
And getting the bad guy because you did not get the justice in your own life, or you just really like it for that reason that somebody gets consequences, right? That doesn't always happen in them, though. Sometimes it's unresolved.
No, I'm listening to a podcast right now called Double Jeopardy. Somebody murdered somebody and is walking the streets because of he did not get
technicality.
Yes.
So stupid.
Yeah.
And then last one, there's a learning component, which is what you've been talking about. And you get to feel like you can prepare for imminent danger by scratching them and getting their DNA under your fingernails. Or
I have already taught my kids how to do that.
Okay.
I mean, I can't put a chip in their neck. So the next best thing is I told them to scratch.
Do you want to come back here at 1 when I have therapy?
No, but as you're reading those, I was thinking this is why I like true crime. And I think it has to do with my stalking incident in high school.
Yeah.
Being scared that somebody was coming to kill me, and also being so angry that that person didn't get justice.
Yeah.
When they were found.
Because things need to be fair.
Things need to be fair. You know, I love fairness. So I think those two things, and that is, to be honest, when my obsession with, oh my gosh, I'm going to be murdered, I know that's how I'm going to die, started.
Wouldn't it be nice to work on that and not feel like that?
No, I just put it together. So I feel like that is working on it. I'm good.
That's step 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're not good.
No, I'm a complete person now.
Yeah.
I've spent the last 20 years figuring out how not to get murdered by listening to other people get murdered. So I feel like that's good.
But you also, that was all you.
Sorry.
You also have been told by a homicide unit detective that your fear is completely irrational.
What's up, Donnie?
And no one is coming to your house. He was literally looked at her and went, no one wants to even come to your house. You're not why? Like he went through did. Like you're insane.
That detective laughed in my face.
You were like, I know it. I know I will. I know somebody's gonna steal my kids. He was like, nobody wants your kids. Nobody wants your kids. So there's the statistic of that happening, but your obsession over it, can be / is crippling. Yeah, sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I won't go places and I won't do things because I'm so afraid. I used to call Melody a different name in Target and grocery stores because I didn't want anybody following me in the aisles to know her name in case I looked away and they called her name and she looked. So I would call her different names all the time.
I think there's a level of health when it comes to...
I thought you were going to say something smart.
I think there's a level of health being prepared and being vigilant, and yes, looking over your shoulder just to be, know where the exits are and know where your back is and who's behind you. Like, I think there's a level of like, that's good. And then there's a level of scary where your life gets directed by your fear instead of you just living life and being prepared. There's like 2 different ways.
Yeah, that was smart.
And I think you teeter on the non-healthy. Listen.
I'm listening.
At this festival, I went to a music festival 2 weekends ago, and I had many moments because of just the way the world is right now, of looking around, seeing how many people were here, seeing that, yes, there is security, but not enough for 150,000 people. Anybody could have opened fire. Yeah. Anybody could have maybe finagled their way around security. Like, people were smuggling things in, like, yes, alcohol-wise. Like, nobody could get hurt by that. But what if they got, anything can happen. And then somebody in my group that I was with said it and was like,
you were with a bunch of police officers. weren't you?
I was with a bunch of CrossFitters.
Same thing.
But but one of them was, and one of them was like, anybody could just open fire and they wouldn't know who or how. But there was a rule that if you entered, you could never exit and re-enter. So once you were in,
I know, but still.
Right, but that's how they could regulate what wristbands were in the vicinity.
Oh.
So like there was a piece of security, there was a reason. I was asking why can't I go home and come back?
Yeah.
And there was a reason for that.
You would.
So, well, because you couldn't, food was so expensive. Like,
I know.
what if I wanted to go home, have a little something and come back? So I understood that, but then I was thinking about it and I was looking around. I was like, oh my God, this is something that I'm putting myself in the middle of this danger but if I didn't go, then I missed out.
I know.
On something, you know? So there's a fine line, I think, these days.
Actually, our brother put you in that situation, so we can blame him.
I don't like crowds. One of them is for that reason.
Yeah.
And one of them is because I don't like crowds for sensitive reasons. But these days with the guns and the things happening in America, I think about it.
It's not just happening in America. The first thing I think of when we're going to a concert, I didn't want to think about it, but the first thing I thought about the festival was what happened last October, in Hamas.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, just, they were at a festival.
Yeah.
They were at a happy festival celebrating, and look what happened, and it's still going on. And that can happen. I mean, it can and can't happen. That specifically cannot happen anywhere. It would not happen in America, you'd hope.
No,
but like
know.
that, yes, that makes me stay home.
Yeah. But then you can go into the smaller things. I went to the movies and we had a power outage, but nobody was telling us what was going on. So in my head, I was like, oh my God, crouch down. What if
Aurora, Colorado? Yeah, that's what happened there.
Right. So, wow, the fact that you know these things and can name them.
Because this is what I study. I may not study math and I may not study anatomy. Okay. I say shoulder when I mean elbow. I say 10 when I mean 1. But I know my mass murders, and because I'm trying to protect myself.
But you can't.
Yeah.
You can know about all of them. You cannot.
Yeah.
And you send your kids to school every day. You have no idea what's going to happen.
No, I know. But I volunteer there, so if anything happens to them, it happens to me too.
Better be on a Thursday.
Friday.
Better be on a Friday. There's so much to this that it has to do with control. And there's so much to it that we just have to understand that there's absolutely no control. So you have to kind of let your life, you have to live. You kind of have to let yourself live life.
And to think that horror movies are for pleasure. Some people like this for pleasure.
Yeah. But here are the people that don't. And there's a reason why you wouldn't even humor the thought of going to the next, I don't even know what's out. I don't know what's coming out horror-wise. If you're an overstimulated person, right? Mm-hmm. So think about autism. Loud noises is not okay, and out of routine things tend to get people a little bit spooked, basically. Spooked. So anybody that has a piece of overstimulation to them, which also falls into the highly sensitive people. If you're a highly sensitive person, scary things are not your vibe. They just aren't. You are so sensitive to energy, the room, vibration, noise, light. The list goes on. So you're not going to put yourself in that situation.
I read that empaths do not like horror and scary things because they have too much empathy for the situation that it's not pleasurable for them.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah.
Not even a little bit. If you had horrible trauma in your childhood, you know who you are, you know what that is. You are not going to, again, put yourself in that situation. Lower sensation seeking traits. So like if the adrenaline rush is not something, if you're not a roller coaster person, like people do that just for the thrill.
Yeah, I am not a roller coaster person.
Oh, see, I like roller coasters.
Really?
I can't, as I get older, I can't. Like my body doesn't like it.
Yeah.
I get dizzy and nauseous now. But I'd go on roller coasters. Anywhere.
We went to Dutch Wonderland, and the biggest roller coaster there is the only thing I can handle. And if you know what Dutch Wonderland is, the max age is like 8 years old. So that is the limit to my roller coaster abilities.
Seems legitimate, actually.
It's called Merlin's Mayhem.
Yeah. Yep. There it is. You don't thrive on stress. Some people thrive the chaos, right? The chaos. If you're not somebody that thrives on that, if you're from California, this isn't your thing. I'm just kidding. And then you don't find pleasure. Like there's no pleasurable adrenaline, dopamine hit at all for you. Some people do not get that body response of the happy mood aftermath. That's why you're not a horror or true crime or thriller or suspense movie with Kevin Bacon. That's not your thing. I'm a mix. I don't like the real scary stuff, the gory stuff.
Same.
For the highly sensitive reasons, the empath reasons, the visual blood. I can't. I'm not a nurse for a reason.
Do you want to know my scariest movie I've ever seen? You know what it is. You already know what it is.
Gremlins.
Ow.
Oh. Leprechauns.
Yes.
That's what I meant.
The Leprechaun.
The Leprechaun.
I watched it at a friend's house in like the 5th grade. I knew I wasn't supposed to, but how do you say no when you're with a group of girls that want to watch it? And I still am losing sleep over it. If I get in a car, I jump in the car because the leprechaun is underneath my car and the leprechaun is underneath my bed. I will never sit on the edge of my bed with my feet down. My feet will be up on the bed or I will be walking. But the leprechaun will grab my ankles from under the bed. I was scarred.
But it is amazing that is such a fear. Like you need to check for the monsters underneath your bed.
Yeah.
But you really know a lot about Bundy, you know?
I do.
It's and that guy was coming through windows.
I know. Oh my gosh. I know so much about things that I should know nothing about. And I know so little about things that I should know a lot about.
There is the theory. It's not a theory. It's a thing, right? We actually said it in the last episode. We've said it in many episodes before. If you surround yourself with negativity, that's what comes to you. If you surround yourself with positivity, that's what comes to you. So if you're in the thick of anything or you find that you're listening to true crime, you're listening to, scary stories, doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a podcast like that. But if that's your daily intake, there's a piece of that gets like stored in your brainwaves and in your body where you're just like keeping up with the negativity. Like that's part of your daily cycle.
Yeah.
So you if you feel like things are really heavy, there was a time in the past couple years where I was not in a good place mentally. I was going through a lot of things, blah, 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 blah. But I was on my walks with the dog. I was still listening to true crime.
Right.
And my therapist was like, maybe we take a break from that.
Yeah.
Like maybe we listen to something else. And then so I started listening to Mel Robbins. And that's where these positive things started to come into play, which could also go in a bad direction because I got too far into that where I was like diagnosing myself with all these issues. And she was like, maybe we take a break from that.
Your poor therapist.
Oh, I love her. But it was such a good, I felt it when I took a break from the true crime stuff. And it was heavy. It was anytime I had a break from talking to people, being at work, doing whatever, I was putting on the same story I didn't get to finish, right? You get obsessive. Right. And I took a break. I don't remember how long, but I took a long break from it. And I felt lighter. I felt happier.
Yeah.
I didn't feel doom and gloom. Like there's so much that weighs on our psyche that we do to ourselves. Mm-hmm. And that's such a frivolous one, I feel like.
It is. And it's totally something I did it this morning.
You listened to it this morning?
I listened to it this morning because I only run once a week at this point. I stopped. Remember, I talked about I don't work out as much.
Yeah, you're doing great.
So I'm doing it. I do it once a week, but I really enjoy it because that's the only time I get to listen
to a story.
My murder podcast. And I really enjoy it. But I actually do it because a lot of it, unfortunately, is about women and how much on the news right now are we seeing women running. They're getting murdered.
So then why do you do it?
To prepare myself.
You're going to die while you're listening to it, preparing it.
I know.
What the hell?
If there is somebody running too close behind me, I will zigzag. and I will change my route. There's so many. You guys don't even want to know the things that I do on the daily in my regular routine because I think somebody's following me.
No, you're not that great. Like, no one is following you.
You should watch me put a shopping cart away while I have the 3 kids. It is a sight to see.
Well, that's hard.
Oh, no. I make sure I lock them in the car.
Yeah, that's hard. When you have like kids with you, listen, go childless, people. Shopping is a different experience.
I won't let mom take the kids to the store because mom has a mind frame that she's still in the 80s and she lets them out of the cart and lets them run in the aisles. That is the number one way they get stolen at Target.
Yeah.
She's not allowed to take them shopping.
I think bad things happened in the 80s too.
Yes.
Wasn't that when the milk carton started or was that the 70s?
No, yeah, you're right. But still, mom, you're not allowed to take the kids.
Yeah. Well, she's the other side of the spectrum of like, everyone's a good person.
Yeah.
Everyone means so well. And you're like, wow, everyone's out to get me. But like, no one cares about you. Literally, no one cares about you.
Just don't walk too close to me in public, please. Not you, just anybody. If you walk too close to me in public, I will put my hand in my pocket and get out my little
How'd you
pocket
live in New
knife.
York?
I wasn't scared then.
Yeah, why? How did you live in New York?
I was king of the world. I didn't think anything bad was going to happen to me.
It was post-stalker.
Yeah, I don't know.
Pre-children.
Pre-children. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Like a flip switched and I could do no wrong in New York. I owned that city.
Hold on. A flip switched? A flip switch?
You couldn't just go?
No.
You couldn't just go?
You said it very confidently.
You couldn't just go?
A flip switched. Oh. Oh. You did it.
Something switched. And now I'm scared to death in Delco.
But like, why don't you just work on it?
Mom still has to sleep at my house when Andrew goes away.
So why don't you work on it? Like, you're just listing things that make you crazy. Why don't you work on it and not feel like the world is out to get you?
I'm literally listening to a true crime podcast going to bed while mom's on our couch. Because I can't sleep alone with the kids. I hope this was informative.
I'm buying you therapy for Christmas. I'm buying you therapy for Christmas. I don't care what you said. Don't send me a Betsy Johnson link.
Wait, but I really want those shoes.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care.
I got a code too for 30% off.
Good. I hope you die in it. I hope you're murdered in that coat.
It's their shoes.
Okay, in the shoes. With buckles on it like Santa Claus. I don't even.
But am I getting them?
Not for me. You're getting therapy from me. Better help, baby.
That's like every commercial on every podcast.
BetterHelp.
BetterHelp.com. I would not be a good sponsor for that. I would not be a good ad provider for BetterHelp.com.
Yeah. It's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, if you're as scared as I am right now. Wait, you know what I just had thought? One of my scary leprechaun was yours when you were little. Remember witches? The witches?
No.
The movie The Witches and they turned into rats.
Oh my God. Yeah, but that wasn't scary.
Are you kidding? It was so scary.
Yeah, where they turned into rats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so weird.
That was my that was my fear.
That you were going to turn into a rat?
No, that they were just going to come get me. Now I would like to be a witch.
I'm not sure that we're not sure that you're not. I mean, if you guys took a look around her condo,
what's wrong with my house?
You're witchy.
You're bitchy. Mom's yelling right now.
Yeah, she is, but I need a t-shirt that says I'm with witchy and you need to say I'm with bitchy.
And we're all with Barbara.
We're all with Barbara. Poor Barbara has to deal with us.
All right. So that is the reason for the season. The spooky season. And it is spooky for some of us all year long. And it's completely opposite for a lot of us as well. So there's the reason why I thought it was interesting.
It is so interesting.
And it's, it's October, 'tis the season. We're seeing a lot of sometimes Halloween decorations scare me, where I'm like, oh, why would you put that up? Oh my gosh.
Same.
And some people are just unbothered.
Melody and I both cannot look at the Netflix when they list all, like, the home screen, because all the Halloween scary movies are out now. And some of the posters or previews of the movies are so scary. It scares us.
Yeah.
But murder all day. Sometimes it's nice to research and learn some things that aren't going to better you, but that are just informative and interesting to find out. Shut up, shut up, shut up.
Okay. Got it. So we hope that you remember that you are always fit to be real.
And always allowed to be a little extra.
Boo.
For legal reasons, we have to tell you that this podcast is meant for entertainment and educational purposes only. We are not healthcare professionals. For all of your health, wellness, fitness, and self-care needs, please refer to the medical professional in your life. Your primary care physician, your therapist, a certified coach, whoever it may be. And then let us know what they say, because I guarantee we need to know it too. Okay? Okay, bye.